Okay, so if I look at 5.3, we are looking at multi-step inequalities. So y'all have time for homework later, so homework needs to be put away. We're looking at notes. You can finish it later. Okay, so as I look at 5.3, we're going to start with story problems, and then we'll get to some other inequalities. Okay, so if I look at example 1, starting with some story problems, same thing, same idea with story problems. Look for what they're asking for. So as I look at example 1, the print shop advertises a special to print 400 flyers for less than the competition. The price includes a $3.50 setup fee. If the competition charges $35.50, what does the print shop charge for each flyer? What are they asking for? As I read the story problem, what are they asking for?
How much money does it?
No? What they charge for each flyer. What does the print shop charge for each flyer? So that's going to be C. Whatever they are asking for is your variable, almost always. That's a good way to start story problems, because I know they can be confusing. Okay, now let's read what they tell me and see if I can set up an inequality. The print shop advertises a special to print 400 flyers for less than the competition. The price includes a $3.50 setup fee. If the competition charges $35.50, what do they charge for each flyer? So give me some ideas how to set up my inequality. Look for phrases. Alex, put your hood down, please. Look for phrases. Not Alex. Who is that? Yeah, thanks. Okay, look for phrases. I know, sorry. You used to sit up there. Okay, just saying. Just trying to make me feel better that I made a mistake. So, look for phrases that give you an inequality symbol. So what phrase do I see that's going to tell me an inequality symbol? Inequality symbol. Less than. So the print shop advertises a special to print 400 flyers for less than the competition. Okay. Well, what do they tell me the competition is charging for it? $35.50. And I want to charge less than the competition. So if the competition charges $35.50, I want to charge less than that. The print shop wants to charge less than that. So it's going to be the less than symbol. Now, what do they tell me about the price for the print shop?
Wait, what?
Okay, tell me some information. Because this is how much the print shop is selling it for, or charging. The competition is charging $35.50. The print shop wants to charge less than that. So what information do they tell you about what the print shop charges? $3.50 is a setup fee. So $3.50 setup fee. And then what else do they tell me?
400 flyers.
I make 400 flyers. Do I know how much those flyers cost though? No. So what am I going to do with the $3.50 setup fee and then the price for how much it costs for the flyers? Add them. So $350 plus, how do I figure out how much it costs for the flyers? 400 C. I have 400 of them, and they cost C per flyer. I want to know how much do they charge per flyer. So if I print 400 of them, and I want to know C. Now I want to find C. I want to solve for C. So if I look at this, how do I solve this inequality for C? Subtract 350. Grab a calculator if you don't have one, so you can actually do this with us. So subtract 350. So go get a calculator so you can actually stay with us if you don't have one. And actually do 3550 minus 350.
32.
Yep, but I want to make sure everyone can kind of stay along.
32 is 400 Z. 32 is less than 400 Z. And then you divide by 32.
Okay, yep. So 3550 minus 350, 32 is greater than 400C. If I want to know C, what do I do next?
Divide by 32.
No, I want to know C.
400.
Divide by 400. So in your calculator, 32 divided by 400,
0.08.
0.08. And let's actually write out what it means. The cost for each flyer is what?
8 cents.
More specific. It's not 8 cents. It's what?
0.8 cents.
No. The cost for each flyer is what?
Less than 8 cents.
Less than 8 cents. So less than 8 cents.
Well, this is really much.
No, but it's a fly. I mean, that wouldn't make sense if you're printing flyers.
I thought when you divide or multiply, you have to switch the sign.
Only when it's a negative. I divide by a positive 400, so I don't switch a sign. Okay, any questions on that one?
No, I think that's pretty.
Okay, let's look at the next one.
Is that all
Um,
the problems?
No, we just start with them. Adriana has a budget of $115 for faxes. The fax service she uses charges $25 to activate an account and 8 cents per page to send faxes. How many pages can Adriana fax and stay within her budget? So, what do I want to know?
How many faxes you can send with
No, keep reading it. A little more specific.
How many pages?
How many pages? How many pages? That's P. That's my variable. Okay, so we're looking for P. So, tell me something that will help me set up my inequality. $25. Okay. Charges an activation fee of $25. Okay. Tell me something else. We're going to do something with the 25.
No.
Plus 8 cents.
Plus 8 cents per page. 0.08 per page will be what? P. That's how much I charge. That's how much they're going to charge her. How much money does she have to spend though?
150.
150. So what they charge her has to be what compared to how much money she has to spend? Less than or equal to 115. Think about it. Common sense. If I only have $115, what they charge me has to be less than that or equal to 115. And then solve this for P. Subtract 25. Take care of the outside first. Subtract 25. So 0.08 P is less than or equal to, what's 115 minus 90? And then divide by 0.08.
125.
P is less than or equal to 1,125. Let's write that out though. Okay, what does that actually represent though? Okay, but what does P actually represent?
How many faxes she can
How many pages?
do. Pages.
So at most, I'm going to use the fancy phrase, at most, 1,125 pages.
That's a lot of pages.
Yes. But for $115, I should be able to send a lot. So at most, that means the highest amount she can send is 100, or that's the highest amount of pages she can send is 1,125. She can send less than that, or equal to that, but if she'd go over that, she's going to spend more than 115. Okay, any questions on that?
What is a fax?
It's like when you attach something to an email. It's the same thing. You know what a fax machine is. You probably never used it, but
I've never used one.
Maybe not. Maybe they're obsolete.
Office, but
yes, it's like a way to like sending a document.
that guard tax or
Okay.
by the railroad tracks.
Oh, okay. Let's look at example 2, solve each inequality. So I went through and I put these examples as the book has them. So if you still need to look at more examples, you can go to the book and you can line up, like example 1 in the book are story problems. Example 2 looks like this. So you can see kind of in the book where to look. So let's solve each inequality and graph the solution on a number line. So if I look at example 2, I'm going to do what first to solve this? Subtract 10. Always do the outside. It's the same process as with a normal equation. Subtract 10. 23 minus 10, 13 is greater than or equal to negative 2w. So it's the same process as an equation, except a few differences like we talked about Wednesday. Divide by negative 2. Now like Ethan said, I'm dividing by a negative, so I have to do what?
Switch the sign.
Switch the sign. So you can make this a decimal if you want to. I don't really care. It might be easier to graph it. What's 13 divided by negative 2?
6.5.
Okay, is less than or equal to w, because it is dividing by negative, so you switch the symbol. Now, read the directions. I solved it. Now graph it on a number line. When you graph it on a number line, put negative 6.5 in the middle, and then you can go negative 7 on the left and negative 6 on the right. I'm not going to be super picky with the number line. Open or close circle at negative 6.5. Close, because it's greater than or equal to. Now, you have to read the variable first. W is what? Greater than or equal to negative 6.5. Since W is greater than, you shade to the right. So please be careful. Just because you see the less than sign, you have to read the variable first. W is greater than, so you shade to the right. I want numbers greater than negative 6.5. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, let's look at example 3. Read the directions. Define a variable, write an inequality, and solve the problem.
I don't like these.
Well, that's why we do it. We're going to do 2 of them. Hopefully it helps. Okay, so define a variable. First of all, as I look at example 3, what's my variable going to represent? Two more than half of a number is greater than 27. So what's my variable going to represent? No? Do what? A number. So I don't care what variable you use, x, and that's going to represent a number. So just make sure, if they say define a variable, just put your variable and then show it represents a number. On the I step, there are going to be multiple parts, and one of the parts might say define a variable. So you need to be able to know, when I say define a variable, you just put what the variable is, what it's representing. Let's set up an inequality. 2 more than half of a number.
What?
2 more than half of a number.
2 plus.
2 plus 1/2 x. Half of a number, 1/2 times x. Is greater than symbol, 27.
Subtract 2.
Okay? Now, I defined a variable, I wrote an inequality, and then we need to solve this. So we're going to subtract 2 first. So 1/2 x is greater than 25. Now, we talked about ones like this on Wednesday. There's a couple different options. If I had to get rid of the 1/2, what do I do? Divide by what?
Divide by a fraction.
Divide by a half. Dividing by a half is the same as multiplying by what? 0.5 or, no, not. Dividing by a half. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal.
Oh,
So
yeah.
dividing by a half is the same as multiplying both sides by, which is 2. So we can multiply both sides by 2 or 2 over 1. So dividing by a half is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal or multiplying both sides by 2.
Which would you do better?
I like this.
Because you don't have to do a fraction.
Yes. So 2's cancel, so I just have x is greater than what? 50. 25 times 2, 50. Do I graph it on a number line?
Yes.
It doesn't say to, so you don't need to.
But you should.
You can. I'm not going to count off, but you don't need to. Why do more work?
Because then it makes a better explanation.
Good. Okay. So as I look at B, the sum of 9 times a number and 15 is less than or equal to the sum of 24 and 10 times the number. Let's do y this time, it doesn't matter. So y is going to represent a number. Define the variable. Y is the number. And then we need to set up an inequality. The sum of 9 times a number and 15. How do I represent the sum of 9 times a number and 15? How do I represent 9 times a number?
9n.
No, 9y in this case. Whatever. Yes, you're fine. Whatever variable you choose. That's 9 times a number, and I take the sum of that and 15.
So plus 15.
Plus 15.
It's less than.
Okay? 9y plus 15, the sum of 9 times the number and 15 is less than or equal to. So less than or equal to
24.
the sum of 24 and 10 times the number.
What's the sum mean? Plus?
Yes?
Multiplication?
So 24 plus 10 times the number.
Oh, man.
10
Y.
y. Because it's the same number. So 10 times y. Now I need to solve this for y. I set up the inequality, solve this. Okay, what do I do first? Couple options. Subtract 15. You could also subtract 9y. You'll get the same answer. So if I subtract 15, 9y is less than or equal to, what's 24 minus 15? Plus 10y. Okay, now I need to get my y's together. So what do I do? Subtract 10y. So I have, what's 9y minus 10y? Negative 1y or negative y. Is less than or equal to 9. Is this solved yet? No, y is not by itself. Divide by the negative 1. So I get y is greater than, because I divide by negative, so I switch the symbol. Y is greater than or equal to negative 9. You do not have to graph this, it doesn't say to. Okay, any questions on this? Okay, we have a couple more examples to look at, a little trickier. But it's the same idea. So I normally did, last year I did 5-1, 5-2, and 5-3 all together. But this year I decided to split up 5-1 and 5-2 together and then 5-3 together. So hopefully going a little slower is kind of making it a little easier to understand. Okay, let's look at example 4. Solve each inequality, graph the solution on a number line. So you do need a number line for these. Okay, as I look at example 4, 5, and 4, 5a, and then 5b, I notice I have what I have to deal with. Parentheses. You deal with them the same way you did if they were equations. Keep your head up, Logan. Is this Logan in the front row? I can't tell. Logan. No. Yes, David. Sorry. I can't tell who you are from the back of your head. Okay. So let's look at example 4. Solve each inequality. So as I look at example 4, what am I going to have to do first?
Subtract. Divide.
You are just guessing random numbers. Distribute. So we're going to distribute the 2.
No, I don't want to do that.
If I distribute the 2,
I don't like.
what's it going to look like?
It's going to be 2x plus 10.
2x plus 10 is less than or equal to, distribute the 3,
15 minus x.
15 minus
3.
3x. Don't forget, distributing, you multiply everything to the inside parentheses. Now it looks like an equation like we just did. I want to get x alone. You have a couple different options.
Subtract 10.
Subtract 10. That's fine. Subtract 10. So 2x is less than or equal to 15 minus 10 minus 3x.
And then, so you just add 3.
Yeah, add 3x to both sides. Get your x's together. So 2x plus 3x is less than or equal to 5. Yep, divide by 5. I don't switch the symbol because I'm dividing by a positive 5. So x is less than or equal to 1. No, it's just, you've done it before, just not with inequalities. Okay, graph it on a number line. So if I graph it, 1 in the middle, 0, 2. Open or closed? Closed, less than or equal to. Closed, shade to the x is less than, so shade to the left.
Little left.
Okay, any questions?
You got that from me, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You got that figured out, good.
Okay, let's look at one more. Let's look at 5a. Okay, if I look at this one, let's distribute and see what I get. So if I distribute the 2, I notice I have parentheses, so let's distribute the 2.
2x.
So if I take the 2 and distribute it, what do I get?
X.
Minus
2x.
2x. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times negative x is 2x. So 6 minus 2x.
Plus 4x minus 28, or 32.
Okay, 4 times x, so plus 4x. And then 4 times a negative 8 is a negative 32. Less than 3x plus 5. So before we go through and try to move things to the other side, we need to do like we did on Wednesday on the warm-up. If you have things on the same side that are similar, I can do what with them? Combine them. So on the left side, what like terms can I combine together?
2x and 4x.
So what is negative? You have to take the sign in front. What is negative 2x plus 4x? Positive 2x. What else can I combine? So 6, and then the negative 32. You don't take the negative after the 6. The negative comes from the 32. What is 6 minus 32? Negative 26 is less than 3x plus 5. So if you can combine on the left side, simplify, combine it first, and then move things over to the other side. Now I have this. Add 26. Add 26. So 2x is less than 3x plus 31. Subtract the 3x, because I want to get my x's together. Yep, so 2x minus 3x is negative x is less than 31. It's not solved yet. What do I need to do? Divide by negative 1. So x is greater because I divided by a negative, so switch the sign. Negative 31. And you do need to graph it on a number line. So negative 31 in the middle, negative 32 on the left, negative 30. Open or close circle at negative 31. Open. X is greater, so shade to the right. Always look at your variable first. Okay. Questions? Can we do this?
Yes.
No? If you can't, then you have a half hour to ask questions. So homework is page 301.
I like this spot now.
Do you say that's good?
I feel smarter.
Do you say that's good? I thought you said that's good, like to the homework. Like I shouldn't give you any more. Whatever.
He said he's done. I said,
Yes. No, I'm finishing. Before I was interrupted.
I swear, go to the first one.
Okay. So page 301,
1 through 11.
you are going to do
1 through 11.
I think that's reasonable for Friday.
16 through 34.
Oh my odds.
16 through 34.
I did it 1 through 11 if you weren't sitting there.
Or we could do 12 through 34. Or we could do 12 through 48.
I like 12.
I like 16 through 34.
Thank you. Okay. So 16 through 34, page 301.
1 through 40. Yeah, right. I'd never get it done. There's no way.
I'm going to grab the lights.
Hey, smarty pants with the long arms.
Who's that?
I'm gonna go out to the library, if you wanna come back, need to come out and work with me, that'll be fine.
Keller, can I go get my notebook?
Where's it at? Okay, if anybody would like to go with Mrs. Glasper to work on it out there, that's fine.
Let's do Tuesday.
This is due Tuesday. We'll go over it Monday.
Tornado.
Yeah, it's supposed to be short. You can bring in a couple bucks. It's really not asking for much.
Right, and you know, supposed to be tornadoes today, so yeah. That's crazy. I know. The warm air's all up there.
I think it has, I think both, but just mix and blow up.
They don't blow up.
It has to be a warm front, the cold front, unless you make it Why not?
Okay, guys, have a seat. Get started on this. You should be able to get a good amount of this done. If you don't have the homework from Wednesday done, that's due today. So get it done. Just wait for them to get back to the after.
Yeah. Okay, well, then after I do that, can I go to the workshop?
Yeah, so get started on homework.
I can't. I have no paper, that's what I'm
There's paper up front.
I wanna do it.
It's been there all year. Go get it. Get
On my
some of it.
notebook.
Go get it and get started working.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't throw nothing.
Yes, you did.
That's what did.
Do your Chromebook with you?
That's exactly.
Yeah, take it with you.
No, it's not.
Yes.
I got a question.
Yes.
Okay, so number 9 on the first page. Where are you? Right there, twice the number increased by 20, would that be 2s, is at least, so.
That means at least. It can be more than 10, but at least it's 10.
Actually, I'm gonna take it with you.
Yes.
That is right?
Yes.
Why?
And then I just have to solve this.
Why?
And then I wasn't in here for the word problems.
Can we listen to music?
That is fine.
I've got questions on
Except
the.
that-
Well, did you go back and watch the video? Well, you have access to internet at school.
But I'm not allowed on Chromebook. I didn't have a Chromebook.
Okay. Did you write down the ones I did with you?
I wasn't in here. I came in here as your commissioner.
Okay. Well, it's like the story problems we did today. So I can't swing past. So get online and get online now. Get those in the classroom. Get those story problems on the notes done in the video. You know, so you at least have those down. You know.
She was scared. She was scared.